What if the people who love you the most are the very people who are preventing you from becoming who you are supposed to be? I'm making this video for unconventional men, men who are non-conformists, who have a dream that is just peculiar to them. Most men don't give up on their dreams because they are lazy. They often do so because the people who love them and who they love the most can't see what they see. Napoleon Hill faced the same problem, and I want to read you his narration of his experience. My labors on this philosophy made it necessary many years ago for me to choose between immediate monetary returns, which I might have enjoyed by directing my efforts along purely commercial lines, and the remuneration that can be measured only in terms of the accumulated knowledge that enables one to enjoy the world about them more keenly. People who engage in work that they love best do not always have the support in this choice of the people closest to them. Combating negative comments from friends and relatives has required an alarming proportion of my energies, especially during the early years that I was engaged in the research which has gone into this course. These personal references are made solely for the purpose of showing the students of this philosophy that seldom, if ever, can one hope to engage in the work one loves best without meeting with obstacles of some nature. Generally, the chief obstacle is that it may not be, as I said, the work that brings the greatest remuneration at the start. To offset this disadvantage, however, if you engage in the sort of work you love, you are generally rewarded with two very decided benefits. First, you will usually find in such work the greatest of all rewards, happiness, which is priceless. And secondly, your actual reward in money, when averaged over a lifetime of effort, is generally much greater. For labor that is performed in a spirit of love is usually greater in quantity and finer in quality than that which is performed solely for money. The most trying opposition to my choice of a life work came from my wife. Her idea was that I should accept a salaried position which would ensure a regular monthly income, because I had shown by the few salaried positions I had held that I had marketable ability and could command an income of from $6,000 to $10,000 a year without any great effort on my part. In a way, I saw my wife's viewpoint, as we had young growing children who needed clothes and education. A regular salary, even though it was not large, seemed to be a necessity. Despite this logical argument, however, I chose to override my wife's counsel and the criticism of family and friends. I remained adamant. I had made my choice, and I was determined to stand by it. The opposition did not yield to my viewpoint, but it gradually subsided, and the knowledge that my choice had created hardship for my family actually increased the dedication with which I worked for what I believed. Fortunately, not all of my friends believed my choice unwise. There were a few who not only believed I was following a course that would ultimately bring me out somewhere near the top in the way of useful achievements, but in addition to believing in my plans, they actually went out of their way to encourage me not to be whipped by either adversity or the opposition of relatives. Of this small group of faithful ones who gave me encouragement at a time when it was badly needed, perhaps one man should have the most credit: Edwin C. Barnes, business associate of Thomas A. Edison. Mr. Barnes became interested in my chosen work at its beginning, and had it not been for his unwavering faith in the soundness of the philosophy behind the law of success, I would have yielded to the persuasion of others and sought the way of least resistance. This would have saved me much grief and an almost endless amount of criticism, but it would have also wrecked the hopes of a lifetime. And in the end, I would, in all probability, have also lost that finest and most desirable of all things: happiness. For I have been extremely happy in my work, even during the periods when the financial remuneration it brought me could be measured by nothing but a mountain of debt. A man only has to have lived this experience to understand exactly what Napoleon is trying to communicate. In my next video, I'm going to dissect what we just read, and I'm going to discuss it in different parts. I'm going to discuss the problem, the resistance, the mental health angle to this, and the message to families. I hope I see you in the next video.